Estabilidade. Resistência. É o que se busca em tempos de incerteza. Há conforto no que é confiável e familiar. Com tudo que está acontecendo no mundo, as dificuldades para viajar para longe. Às vezes, o melhor destino é o lugar chamado de lar.
Do I go now? Hang on. Oh, I help. The trees. Do you want me to go around them or through them? I'm all right. The Leeds and Liverpool Canal is a perfect place to start this world of wonder into my own backyard. You see, I was born in Liverpool in the 1960s and grew up there, and then spent my teenage years in Leeds. This arterial waterway joins together important places in my life.
A viagem do Richard Quest para lá, em tempos de limites restritivos da Covid-19, é um alívio para a alma.
It's amazingly peaceful here on the canal. Everything happens, it seems, at a much slower pace.
Até chegar em uma eclusa. Aí é questão de força física para manejar essa intimidadora peça de engenharia de séculos atrás. Há 91 eclusas neste canal e o Quest está fechando a mais famosa, a eclusa Bingley.
3 full turns. 1, 2. You see there, I've opened the sluice gate. And now it's just lifting the boat, and it's really coming up at quite a lift. And it's raining. Well, it's Yorkshire, what to expect. There is nothing electronic or digital or automatic about this. You have to do it yourself. This is such good fun.
Os velhos moinhos são incríveis. Colados nas colinas, são um lembrete do importante papel deste canal na história.
When they built this canal, George III was on the throne. The whole idea was how to shift large amounts of coal from the collieries to the mills. And by hand, they dug the Leeds-Liverpool Canal.
Uma teia de hidrovias conectando cidades portuárias como Liverpool a áreas urbanas e industrializadas como Manchester. Algodão e carvão sendo transportados. A Revolução Industrial nascia. Forjado no suor daquelas fábricas e moinhos, um espírito trabalhador construía essa parte da Grã-Bretanha.
It would be at least 80 degrees in that mill. It's hot.
Michaela Hilme tem a perspectiva necessária. Além de ter estudado a história e a genealogia dessa parte da Grã-Bretanha, ela é 100% de Manchester.
It's people that are the heart of the Northwest. It's what makes us. It's resilience. It's grit. It's hard work.
Why do I feel the need to want to come back here? What do I gain?
I think this whole connection, this whole thinking about where you're from, associating yourself with a place, knowing about its past, we're all in this together. Yeah, you're one of us. So we care for you. You've come back to your roots. You've probably come back to a time when you were maybe happy. It's nostalgic.
É claro que a nostalgia atrai as pessoas para casa. E o Quest foi para uma cidadezinha costeira que fica a 1 hora a noroeste de Manchester. Foi lá que ele passou verões felizes com os avós.
I remember playing on these sand dunes. Just watching some kids there now. That was us.
Com alegria notável, ele visitou novamente lugares de sua infância.
The waterfall! The waterfall!
E foi nesse lugar que a mágica aconteceu. Essa é a casa da avó de Quest. Ou era. A casa foi demolida para construir esse bloco de apartamentos.
So when my grandparents had it, it was just a house that sat on the property with the garden to one side and a fish pond. The dunes were bigger in those days. Or maybe I was just younger and smaller. Happy days. All I've done is travel 250 odd miles to visit a place that was important to me growing up. It just proves I don't need to go to the other side of the world to have a meaningful travel experience.
Esta época de maiores restrições para viajar é um momento para Quest redescobrir suas raízes e aprender que elas fazem parte de um mundo de maravilhas.
In my Liverpool home, in my Liverpool home.
Ele está cruzando um rio que deu origem a canções, filmes e todo um gênero musical, o rio Mersey.
So ferry, cross the Mersey. 'Cause this land's the place I love.
Se você for de lá, você não é inglês, é Scouser. E como Scouser, o Quest ainda carrega o sotaque e deseja sentir o gostinho de casa. É uma alegria para ele visitar o icônico Mag Maze.
It's just a slow cook. It's the beef. We use Irish beef. It's all local produce. What's the little secret here, is it? Oxos.
Isso sim, é o sotaque de um Scouser. Não confundir com o prato que Quest vai preparar com o lendário jogador do Liverpool, Jamie Carragher.
Right, firstly, Jamie, do you cook?
No.
Well, that's sorted
That's a
out.
good start. Yes, terrified. Not knowing what I'm doing.
The task
A missão não é brincadeira. É coisa séria fazer scouse. É um ensopado de carne e vegetais, uma iguaria local.
I'd go for the meat, innit? Big chunks of meat. Well, that's how my mum does it anyway.
It's amazing. I've only done 3 things and I've already made a mess.
I thought you'd been learning cooking. I thought you were...
Well, baking,
This is
pastries.
the first.
It is, it's a first. I fail at the first hurdle. I can't even open the bloody OXO cube. Did you ever think about living anywhere else?
No. Best place in the world. No one else can do scouse.
Oh, mine's already burning on the bottom. Oh, good
Now
Lord.
it is.
Hang on, I've got a crisis, I think.
Have you got something going on?
Well, it looks like it was boiling. What I'd love to know is what he's going to do with both of these after we're done.
Como em toda boa família Scouse, Jamie precisou escolher um lado entre os 2 times gigantes de lá, azul ou vermelho, Everton ou Liverpool. Jamie cresceu torcendo pro azul, mas se tornou um dos mais famosos Scousers a usar a camisa vermelha do Liverpool.
This city, by rights, should not have 2 football teams of such great quality, but it does. Why?
I think the people in the city demand the best, really, as people, not just in terms of their football clubs, but in everyday life. They don't, accept second best. As I said, it's not in an affluent area, it's not down south, not the biggest of cities, but what comes out of this city is pretty special.
Just a taste.
Spot on.
Seja para quem continua por lá, como Jamie, ou foi embora, como Quest, há algo nesse lugar que mantém as raízes, mesmo para aqueles que tiveram fama universal. Você já sabe onde isso vai parar. Não há conversa sobre Liverpool, a vida Scouse, o Mersey. Nada disso está completo sem os Beatles. Para falar do assunto, ninguém melhor do que Julia Baird, meia-irmã de John Lennon.
The Beatles were all part of our lives, an intricate part of our everyday lives.
Em 2015, ela inaugurou as estátuas dos Fab Four, ao lado do Mersey.
This is Ringo, and underneath his feet is L8, which is the district in Liverpool that he's from.
L8.
There we are, the area of Toxteth in Liverpool where Ringo is from.
Nas mãos de John, Duas nozes, tiradas da frente do edifício Dakota, em Nova York, onde ele foi baleado e morto há 40 anos.
It's only after John died that the beetle element sort of rose like phoenix out of the ashes in Liverpool. And I'm still living here. I've never left the area. It's my umbilical cord. I'm a northerner through and through.
Esse legado dos Beatles saturou Liverpool. No fim das contas, todas as estradas levam ao famoso Cavern Club, onde os Beatles tocaram quase 300 vezes no início dos anos 1960.
Doesn't that seem a bit weird that there's an entire industry about your family?
When people say, what's it like to have your brother as a Beatle? Have you got a brother?
Sisters.
What's it like to have a sister who isn't a Beatle? I mean, that's all I can say. I've got one brother, and it's John. We separate John the icon from John the brother. So we grew up with John the brother.
Do you remember a moment when you realised who John the singer was?
Probably when they went to America in 64.
Você sabe o que veio depois. The Ed Sullivan Show, a Beatlemania invadindo o mundo. Mas essa conexão com Liverpool continuou. E continua de forma tangível, como por trás dos portões vermelhos de Strawberry Field, um antigo orfanato, hoje uma escola. O local inspirou um poema de John e virou a lendária música.
The relationship of the Beatles to Liverpool, do you think it's sometimes overdone?
No, no, it cannot be overdone. They were rooted in the soil of Liverpool. There's something about Liverpool that is very demanding. When you live here, it demands a lot of you, but you're very happy to give it. There's a loyalty from the city to its citizens and from its citizens back to the city.
E depois dos Beatles e Liverpool, o Quest vai para outra cidade da região.
I remember these. All aboard! Oh, now you see why they were called the balloon trams. Doesn't matter which way the seat goes. Oh, look at that.
Uma viagem de bonde elétrico leva Quest ao seu destino final no túnel do tempo. Uma rápida visita à cidade litorânea de Blackpool. Tudo continua lá. As conhecidas montanhas russas e, claro, a torre de Blackpool.
They're still whipping. It's closed.
Nas décadas de 1950 e 1960, Blackpool era muito popular com os veranistas britânicos. Com quase a mesma idade que a própria beira-mar, há outra tradição de Blackpool. É o Blackpool Rock, uma espécie de bala em forma de palito e vendida como lembrancinha.
The stick of Blackpool Rock is an institution.
It is. You've got people coming from Australia to buy rock.
Pure dentist nightmare. A lot of sugar?
Yeah, 25 kilos.
A confeiteira, Anne-Marie Bourgogne, colocou o Quest para trabalhar.
There you go. This is the colour that's going to go on the outside.
On the outside?
Okay. So that's the red. Go a bit wider.
How
Don't
far?
dig. Make sure there's no bubbles.
You keep changing the rules here.
1, 2, 3. There we go.
Well,
You can stay there.
I'll stay here. Oh, look at that.
Essa máquina parece simples, mas é pegajosa e perigosa.
This is for the letters now.
Oh, no. That was what? Whoa.
Make it nice and tidy. Then you have to stretch it so it fits all the way there.
How long did it take you to learn to do this?
It takes up to 3 years to learn everything, to make every kind of letter I'm going to give you a really easy one.
You.
Take that.
Yeah?
Now join black to black. And roll it. Make it round. Not square. We don't want square rows.
It's still very hot.
Right, shall I help you now?
Ow! Ow!
O trabalho está longe de acabar.
The joy on people's faces when they've seen something that they've never seen before. There we go. And now we have a big thick of Blackpool rock.
We're trying to understand Blackpool.
I love it. I was born here. You think back in the times when I was a kid, we ran around, all around the piers, the sea. We had the best time of our lives, because it was absolutely amazing as a child to be brought up here.
Deve ser inevitável que o que era mágico na juventude perca o charme quando a idade chega. Mas para o Quest, estar aqui de novo, nesses tempos difíceis, está sendo o oposto.
Blackpool Tower, 69 seconds from bottom to top. Whoa! Pigeons, lights, beach.
A torre de Blackpool se mostra imponente na entrada, como tem feito há mais de um século.
Top of the tower. Oh no. I know it can't break, but you still think, what if? Oh God. We used to come here as a kid to the circus every year.
A torre foi inaugurada em 1894 e deu motivos para Blackpool se vangloriar. Em torno da mesma época, outra curiosidade atraía visitantes: a iluminação elétrica das ruas. Aquelas antigas lâmpadas evoluíram para instalações elaboradas, iluminando a beira-mar. A iluminação de Blackpool, com 140 anos, ainda é uma grande atração.
Is it Christmas?
Yes, so we do lots of Christmas features as well.
Richard Williams é uma enciclopédia ambulante sobre tudo ligado à iluminação. O tipo de luz,
We've mixed LED and traditional lamps.
quantas são necessárias,
Over 1 million lamps.
o tamanho.
It's G60 because of the size of the envelope.
Mas cuidado com o nome que usa para essas coisas esféricas.
Lots of bulbs.
Yeah, they're actually lamps because bulbs grow in the ground.
Have I just committed the first
Committed
faux
the mortal offence you've committed of calling them bulbs. Yes.
pas? Lamps.
O Quest até substituiu algumas lâmpadas dos fios que ficam sobre a beira-mar.
Oh, hang on.
Manage?
This all seems very easy to those of you down there.
Well done. There we go.
Right. Only another 996,996 to go. What a treat! Blackpool Illuminations has granted me the great privilege of switching on tonight's lights. 3, 2, 1, on! This journey has been more than just revisiting old haunts and trips down memory lane. At a time when travel's so limited, it's allowed me to reconnect with my past. And that's why I think the word for northwest England is home. Now, you'll have your own place that you call home and your own travels to rediscover what's important to you. But it all comes down to the same thing. Our own backyards are truly worlds of wonder.
Acontece todos os anos. É aquela época, quando a mudança é iminente.
Magnificent.
É lindo. Ficamos cegos com essa maravilha.
Look at that.
Não dá para ignorar.
To see nature's orchestra of colors playing beautifully together to create this cacophony. There they are, the Finger Lakes of New York. I have a confession. I've always wanted to be a leaf peeper, to go to a part of the world and properly experience the brilliant colors as nature goes through her annual ritual. The Finger Lakes is exactly the place to be, only 4 hours drive from New York, where I can experience nature's foliage revolution and at the same time discover a revolutionary spirit amongst the people who live here.
A cidade de Ítaca é o ponto de partida do Quest para esse encontro com a beleza da mudança de estações. E também tem os lagos glaciais e as cachoeiras, grandes, mas escondidas. Pegar folhas é divertido, mas só para amadores.
I knew we waited long enough.
E o Quest não está lá para brincar com as folhas, mas para aprender a apreciar essa beleza com quem entende.
I don't recommend this for everybody. This is the lighting that I pray for. I mean, it's like stained glass.
Fran Driscoll é um observador de folhas profissional.
You see that far hill? That's pretty much peak right now. That's about as good as it's going to get.
Eles observam e registram todos os detalhes da mudança de cores das folhas.
I've been up here like maybe 4 or 5 times this year, and I've been waiting for that tree in the foreground to turn bright red. Right now it's full.
Fotógrafo voraz, a atenção de Fran aos detalhes fez dele um observador perfeito.
I held my breath on that one. I'm trying to convey a feeling, is what I'm trying to do.
O Quest não pôde encontrar o Fran pessoalmente, então suas aulas sobre folhas foram feitas com a ajuda da tecnologia.
You love these leaves, don't you?
They make my day. It's like a living rainbow. Some parts of the United States just have yellow leaves, like aspens. And here in New York, we have rainbows. We have all the colors, even purple sometimes.
So, Fran, as I'm going round today, and what's the best way? Do I drive somewhere? Do I look? What's the best way for me to get the richest experience?
Get out of the car, take a stroll on a trail, and experience it up close and personal. It's something that shouldn't be missed. It's like an out-of-body experience sometimes. It's all-consuming.
This is just glorious.
Num ano com tantos acontecimentos importantes, é possível ver como a visita a Finger Lakes já está revigorando a alma e a perspectiva desgastada de Quest. Ver as coisas de forma diferente faz parte há muito tempo do charme e do DNA do norte do estado de Nova York. Foi nessas cidades pacatas e modestas que nasceram poderosas ideias progressistas, como direitos iguais para as mulheres, um conceito radical para a época, e que levou outros reformistas a migrarem em peso para a região, os chamados livres pensadores.
You know, this house is not, this is where she slept, this is where she ate. It's a house of ideas.
Sally Roche Wagner é uma livre pensadora, assim como a mulher cujo legado ela mantém vivo. Essa é a Matilda Jocelyn Gage, um ícone no início da luta pelos direitos das mulheres nos Estados Unidos. Combatente destemida, Gage é descrita como uma mulher à frente de seu tempo.
She says there will be no permanent peace until there is absolute equality for every group. Men and women, black and white, native born and American, rich and poor. That's it.
Where did it come from? Why does this woman have what was then not just revolutionary views, but unthinkable views?
She saw it in action. That's the wonder of it. She lived in Haudenosaunee territory, and she saw a world that was the mirror opposite of her own.
Os Haudenosaunee, indígenas americanos cujo estilo de vida envolvia uma forma de democracia centenária que não só incluía as mulheres, mas as exaltava.
Culturally, government-wise, spiritually, in which there is absolute balance and harmony, and the goal is to maintain that.
And that's the basis upon which this whole area was based.
And that is her vision.
É possível sentir a linhagem direta que pode ser traçada desde a Oca, passando por esta casa até a Casa Branca. E o Quest lembra que 2020 foi o ano do centenário da conquista das mulheres do direito ao voto. E uma dessas conquistadoras viveu neste cômodo.
This is actually the desk where she wrote.
The real one?
It's the most valuable artifact in the house.
Oh, come on.
And we invite people to sit and write a note to her.
Matilda Gage é uma das combatentes esquecidas da batalha pela verdadeira igualdade. Ela se recusou a ceder e acabou sendo deixada de lado.
Mrs. Gage, you led and deserve to be remembered for what you did. Fight on!
I love it.
Gage faleceu há muito tempo, mas o espírito dos livres pensadores continua vivo.
There is a word sweeter than mother, home or heaven. That word is liberty.
Uma viagem pelas estradas do norte do estado de Nova York. Vistas amplas, onde os pensamentos podem voar livremente. Quest está descobrindo que Finger Lakes é um estado de espírito que sempre atraiu quem quer fazer e ver as coisas de forma diferente. O lugar é repleto de espíritos livres, dispostos a seguir suas convicções, não importa quão excêntricas pareçam.
People in gourds go back 25,000 years. You know the song about the drinking gourd?
No, sing it.
I can't sing the song about the drink.
Isto é uma cabaça, e Graham Otterson é uma apreciadora de cabaças, cuja atual paixão é colher essas plantas incomuns e expressar sua criatividade nelas.
All my life since I was a kid, I always want to make things. I'm compelled to make things. There's something lovely about the way the gourd feels in my hands. It inspires in me like, well, this could be a little fairy house with a little door right here and some windows. And maybe I'll give it a roof. It's this partnership, me and the gourds. I think I wanted to tell you about the process a little bit here, okay? In the shed here, we have the gourds that we recently harvested about a week ago. And you don't have to worry about the spots. All these spots are just fine. You know, people who grow gourds for the first time, they're like, oh, it's rotting, and they throw it away. But they're just fine.
All right, what do we do with them?
We wash. It's kind of like uncovering treasure, right?
Oh, look underneath.
Look underneath, right? Yeah.
Whenever I end up doing something like this, it becomes obsessional.
Mine's cleaner.
What? You said it didn't matter. I knew you were the competitive sort.
Até agora, Quest não se lembrava de algum dia ter visto uma cabaça. Nem tem certeza de que sabia o que eram. Muito menos tinha noção de como ser criativo com essas plantas.
It takes practice. Do watch out for your other fingers.
Os apreciadores de cabaças devem achar que as tentativas do Quest são um ato de vandalismo obsceno contra seus amados frutos.
I think I'm going to ruin your gourd.
Well, I think it'll be your gourd.
Mas Graham e suas cabaças estão ensinando a ele mais sobre o ritmo de liberdade e de pensamento livre que embala esta cidade.
Nice, you got it!
Yes! Ithaca is a very progressive, this whole area. Why did you come here?
I came here because it is a progressive area. Yeah, that's true. I did.
Não é preciso ver nada além do lugar onde ela trabalha e mora. A sua loja e negócio faz parte de um modelo de habitação colaborativa. É uma das primeiras nos Estados Unidos. Não, isso não é uma comuna, mas é diferente de qualquer lugar onde Quest já morou.
I like the phrase intentional community. People move here with the intention of being part of a community. So it's a self-selected group of people who want to be particularly neighborly.
You know, it's like living in an extended family where you know everybody, and you may have an uncle that you don't like so much, but you still celebrate his birthday.
Quem ajudou a difundir a ideia de ecovilas foi Liz Walker, uma colonizadora moderna que vive um estilo de vida sustentável, aplicando o tradicional senso comunitário.
Why do people come here and set up these alternative living arrangements that most of us would never even think of?
I mean, people crave community, right? We've always lived in community. Why have we lost community?
I would say we are really striving for an alternative that makes sense. And what that means is everybody has a stake in the decisions. And we expect our neighbors to take part in making decisions and doing the work of the community.
Do people look at you and say, look, the way you envisaged it in the younger years, in 1991, that's not the way of life today?
I don't think so. There is a continuation of the spirit of activism, of caring about the planet, and of caring about each other.
Para alguns, isso é ou um pesadelo com vizinhos encheridos ou uma noção utópica e nada realista de comunidade. No entanto, seu sucesso é inegável.
There are 100 households here, and by all accounts they've lived harmoniously together for nearly 30 years with the odd disagreement. Call me a cynic, but I'd have thought they'd all been at each other's throats. Instead, I'm starting to understand what makes this place different is the sense of community.
Nos anos 70, foram os hippies que vieram para cá em busca de seu próprio senso comunitário. Em uma visita ao centro de Ítaca, Quest vê que os sonhos e os ideais da geração hippie continuam vivos, em um restaurante chamado Moosewood.
I think the Ithaca area always attracted people who were into some alternative way of being. Many of us who came here from bigger cities, we didn't want that urban, busy, frantic sort of life. And there was a back to the land movement.
All right, so what have I got? I've got the Marcella pasta and the curry.
The cauliflower curry. One is vegan, one is not.
O Moosewood abriu em 1973 com uma ideia radical. Um coletivo empenhado em criar pratos vegetarianos saborosos, algo impensável na época. Dois dos fundadores, David Hurt e Winnie Stein, foram para lá em busca de uma comunidade, mas encontraram uma família.
That's what I'm finding absolutely amazing about this. Here we have a very successful enterprise with a small e. You've got great books, you're still all friends, and you hold dear to the principles that started it.
I think now that we see the impact of what our work has done, we are considered one of the pioneers for farm to table, for sustainable farming, and we are still excited. We're still young at heart.
Oh, that's very good.
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 Seja preparando comida com um propósito, transformando cabaças em algo que faça as pessoas sorrirem. O Quest está encontrando aqui comunidades de mente aberta que apoiam as ambições e paixões das pessoas e as deixam voar.
It gives me great pleasure to declare this gourd open. I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't think it was that.
What are you going to keep in your gourd, Richard?
That's between me and my gourd.
Quest quer se perder. Mesmo na era do GPS, ele vai viajar pelas estradas de Finger Lakes, em Nova York, e fingir que está livre da rotina diária da vida.
Let's take a road and see where it goes.
Vira à esquerda. Não, à direita. Talvez à esquerda de novo, não importa. Existe beleza por todos os lados. E no fim do caminho, haverá ainda mais encantamento e personagens de pensamento livre. Quest foi a fazenda de Pete Mesmer. Lively Run é o nome da fazenda, não uma referência à administração enérgica de Pete. Embora o nome venha a calhar para um homem que é uma verdadeira máquina quando o assunto são seus queijos.
Cheese, like many fermented foods, is like the perfect way to discover a region. It distills everything of the region into a little bit of itself.
A palavra artesanal parece ser usada em excesso no mundo da gastronomia. Mas é perfeita para descrever a cultura de queijo que emergiu das fazendas de laticínios que existem na região dos lagos de Nova York. Enquanto se prepara para colocar a mão na massa, Quest vê à sua frente uma doutrina familiar da região. Neste lugar, as pessoas sempre trabalham duro para criar algo novo, mesmo quando tudo conspira para o contrário.
All right, now I've done this sort of thing once, and I always remember it's panicked and fast, and I end up being terrified that I'm going to spoil your entire thing of curds.
The goal is, if possible, we want to get this vat emptied in about 20 minutes.
Hey, hey. You haven't got a coffee machine after this. I'm going home. So you could make Stilton here, but you couldn't call it Stilton.
I could make a cheese similar to Stilton, but I could not call it Stilton. One of my big things as a cheesemaker, one of my kind of main goals is to try and develop cheese that is expressive of our region, that's not a kind of knockoff of pre-existing European styles. And that's something that we see, in my opinion, all too often in the US.
What is the DNA of the Finger Lakes and this region?
So I think one thing that's important to note is the whole region kind of economically in a lot of ways is driven by winemaking here. And in contrast to a lot of other places in the world, it's not cutthroat, right? Like winemakers help each other out, and that ethos has kind of pervaded everything here. So to me, what we're really trying to capture is a collaborative element where you have all of these things working together to create something unique.
Oh, wait, there's no flipping. Oh.
Quest está mexendo em mais de 200 quilos de queijo, então ganhou o direito de experimentar o resultado.
Now it is my turn to give my considered opinion on this cheese. Ooh, it's lovely. All this talk about cheese, we haven't actually ever seen you actually eat any cheese. Taste what you like.
What I generally tend to gravitate towards is actually the cheese we made today, Finger Lakes Gold Reserve. So this is the year-old version of Finger Lakes Gold, which we were making earlier. Flavor-wise, there's some nice caramel notes, a little bit of like burnt sugar. There's some kind of grassy, pastoral underpinnings.
Well, I think the caramel might be, and I'm not sure about the grassy under.
You do this enough and you start to really develop a vocabulary. The phrase I hear a lot is like umami, kind of.
What?
Umami. It's the flavor that is often associated with like dried shiitake mushrooms.
It's a piece of cheese! You're a cheese snob.
Maybe.
Do you accept it?
I do. I mean, I make like fancy artisan cheese for a living, right? If I wasn't a bit of a cheese snob, then something's wrong.
O Quest nunca terá o olfato ou o paladar certos para apreciar as notas de caramelo e as nuances dos queijos de Pete. Mesmo assim, eles são muito saborosos e isso basta para ele.
The weather has changed. Blue skies have given way to rain and wind, causing the last of the summer leaves to fall. As to the word that best describes this place, I think it is harmony. For there is a harmony between the natural beauty and the people who live here, going all the way back to the Native Americans, the early settlers, the revolutionaries, the free thinkers. And you'll want to come and experience some of that harmony for yourself. As the song goes, winter, spring, summer or fall, they'll be here, you've got a friend. The Finger Lakes is part of our world of wonder.